taken out by the Sikh community demanding Sajjan Kumar's immediate arrest. This is the protest that is being taken out after yesterday's acquittal of Sajjan Kumar. They say that they have adequate evidence not only against Sajjan Kumar but even Congress leader Jagdish Taitla.
It is the anger of an entire community on one side against Congress leader Sajjan Kumar. Outrage over the 1984 riots returning to New Delhi with his acquittal.
सज्जन कुमार वर्गे दोषियों ਨੂੰ ਬਾਇਜ਼ਤ ਬਰੀ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਸ਼ਰਮ ਆਉਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਕੱਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਉਮੀਦ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕੁਝ ਨਾ ਕੁਝ ਮਸਲਾ ਹੱਲ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ ਪਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨਿਕੰਮੀ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਨਾ ਕੁਝ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਔਰ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਕੁਝ ਦੇਵੇਗੀ। आज हम अपनी किस्मत को रो रहे क्या करें हम।
Eyewitnesses claimed they saw Sajjan Kumar inciting violence, which led to the death of thousands of Sikhs in 1984. But even 10 years later, Delhi police had failed to file a charge sheet against Sajjan Kumar.
और अगर इनकी कोई एफआईआर रजिस्टर हुई है उनका आज तक चलान पेश नहीं हुआ कोर्ट के अंदर। सज्जन कुमार है, टाइटलर है, भगत है, इनको सबको फांसी लगाना चाहिए।
And now, this explosive revelation by the former Delhi Police Commissioner, raising questions on the role of Delhi police in the 1984 riots.
I was called to Delhi police and then given this inquiry. And my inquiry was confined to the role of the police. I had still to examine the senior people like Lieutenant Governor and Commissioner, etc. But then just before I was rounding up my inquiry, I was asked to stop it. And the documents which I had seized were handed over to Justice Ranganathan Mishra, who was a sitting Supreme Court judge. There were some powerful influences at the back of it. Because some of the concerned police officers who thought that I was collecting incriminating evidence against them went to the High Court to stop my inquiry. They filed a writ. And then since then, the Delhi police officers have been hounding me out.
The former commissioner also revealing that the Delhi police turned a blind eye to the distress calls by the victims of the 1984 riots.
The mayhem went on for 4 days, and in all these affected areas the police was nowhere to be seen. What I found, and that greatly disturbed me, was that in the Central Police Control Room there were entries of distress calls. But in the concerned police station where maximum number of incidents took place, there were no entries in the Delhi diary. There was no entry of the movement of the police, and all the witnesses whom I examined at that time, a lot of time has passed, but I can distinctly recall this. They all mentioned one and all that the police, in spite of many distress calls, simply didn't appear.
The man at the center of the storm, Sajjan Kumar, continues to evade Times Now cameras, even as he faces the anger on the streets. And now, with this revelation by the then investigating officer, questions being raised on whether Delhi police really botched up the 1984 riots case. Bureau Report, Times Now.
On the News Hour debate, Maxwell Pereira, former Joint Commissioner, Ved Marwa, former Commissioner and former Governor, Manjeet Singh GK, Leader and President of the Shiromani Akali Dal, Naresh Gujral of the Shiromani Akali Dal, Member of Parliament. My first question is to H.S. Fulka. Mr. Fulka, I'll take the politics of it aside. My first question to you is on the inaction of the police. You have been insisting that a 1992 case against Sajjan Kumar can be reopened even now. My question to you is, why has this case not been reopened? Has the police been serious enough in reopening the case? And what does the fact that this case has not been really opened up tell you about the way the police has followed up on the 1984 investigation?
You see, Arnab, this is not a reopening of the case. This case, on 8th April 1992, the charge sheet is finally prepared and signed. This is only to be filed and presented in the court. It's not reopening of the case.
No, but why has it not been? Why has it not been presented by the police or the CBI in the court? Why has the police not filed it in the court?
Reason that because the Delhi police and the government wants to shield Sajjan Kumar. I mean, till today there has been numerous complaints, numerous affidavits, but till today Delhi police did not file a charge sheet even in a single case against Sajjan Kumar. And here also they have been so blatantly shielding him. It's a case of 4 murders. Charge sheet is finally prepared and signed since 1992. It is still kept in the police files. And when this fact comes out, then you order the reinvestigation, and the officer who has suppressed this charge sheet, he has been given promotion and he is a DCP in the Prime Minister's office.
Mr. Pereira, does this not prove, first of all, should this case not be picked up again? And does this not prove that all the people, the numerous people who have placed on record the fact that the police has been complicit in the 1984 cover-up are right?
Arnab, I think this is a little confusing. Is it in the context of the verdict that came yesterday, or and if it is in that context, then without a charge sheet, how did a judge give any verdict?
No, it is a different case.
I mean,
Mr. Pereira, it's a different case. It's a case of Dangloi police station. That verdict came in Delhi Kent.
No, Mr. Pereira, the broader point, please. The broader point is this: whether we look at the 1992 charge sheet, or whether we look at the way in which even senior police officers like Ved Marwa are not allowed to do their job. Commissions of inquiry were botched up. Follow-up investigations were not done. My question to you, sir, is: do you, as a former Delhi police officer, accept responsibility for the complicity of large parts of the Delhi police in the 1984 cover-up?
Arnab, I can only speak on what I saw in my in the area within my jurisdiction, and where I whatever I did in the context. I really do not know anything about the complicity or inaction or collusion by people, other than what has come out in the commissions, reports of the commissions. And definitely I was one of those aggrieved. I definitely felt that Mr. Marwa's report did not come out. That was for me, because I really needed to know then, because I was one of those officers who deposed before Mr. Marwa.
Mr. Marwa's report did not come out because he was told.
Yes, that is exactly what
he was told by the commissioner. He was told by the commissioner, stop the inquiry. Am I right, Mr. Marwa?
I'm sure Mr. Marwa will speak about it.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I was given 3 months to inquire into the role of the Delhi police in the riots. I worked day and night to do my job, and when I was in the final phase of my inquiry, I was told to stop the inquiry.
By whom?
And I stopped the inquiry. But
by whom?
Whatever during those months I had collected, I think that alarmed some of the Delhi police officers, and they went to the High Court to stop my inquiry also. They had also done that, and since then they have been following up one case, filing one case after another, and even after 29 years there is a case against me of defamation.
One second.
Can you imagine? I was the inquiry officer.
Mr. Marwa, who stopped you?
Yeah.
Who was the commissioner who told you to stop?
Well, Mr. S.S. Jog was the commissioner, and I was brought to the Delhi police after the riots. I was not in the Delhi police during the riots. I was joint secretary in the Ministry of Social Welfare, and I was asked to do this inquiry within a period of 3 months. And this is what happened. The commissioner gave me first verbally and then a written order to stop the inquiry.
What was it, Mr. Marwa, that you had laid your hands on, which the Delhi police commissioner
I had
wanted
as
to
I said, No, not suppressed, but I had collected documentary evidence of the police inaction in some areas. The record of the Central Police Control Room recorded a number of distress calls, But the records in the police station, according to the police rules, every distress call or any call which comes has to be recorded in the diary, and then police movement where it goes has to be recorded.
Yes.
But I found in the most affected police stations in the south and in some west district, the police records just didn't show any movement at all, and didn't record any, as if nothing had happened. And this is what I think alarmed them, because this was an obvious proof that there was something went wrong with the Delhi police. And all the witnesses whom I examined, and my job was not to inquire into the role of the politicians, so I didn't do that. But almost every witness told me that the police was absent, police was not there. And this horrendous cases that took place, the six were tied to a tire, and some of them took 1 hour to die, and no policeman came to rescue them. And these pathetic stories which I heard, which I naturally alarmed the people who thought that I'll hold them guilty.
I think it's shocking.
Because I still had to...
I think it's completely shocking.
I still had to complete my inquiry.
No,
because I had not examined the Lieutenant Governor, the Commissioner and some other officers.
No, I think it's shocking. And Mr. Marwa, let me say it with the greatest of seriousness and sincerity. I stick my neck out. I think they have made this investigation out into an absolute joke. You know, in 29 years, 10 commissions of inquiry since the riots, and more than 29 years later, the process of fixing accountability inches forward at what I can only call a glacial pace. That is why the anger and frustration has now come out on the streets. Mr. Gujral, let me get you in. You know what Mr. Marwa is revealing tonight is itself the most shocking fact. Do you think now, instead of looking the other way, the central government should reopen and have a new institutionalized and independent court of inquiry into why the police was let off and why the truth was suppressed?
Arnab, let me recount the events of 84 for your viewers, because I was a witness to it.
Yes, sir.
It was a state-sponsored terrorism. This carnage was led by Congress leaders. Youth Congress was an active participant. The violence started within hours of Mrs. Gandhi's death. Police was totally inactive. By that evening, attacks on the poor Sikhs had started. Everybody, all the leading citizens of Delhi or of India, be it former Prime Ministers like Mr. I.K. Gujral, Mr. Chandrasekhar, General Arora, Air Marshal Arjun Singh, they were repeatedly requesting the Home Minister and the President of India to call the army out. Army was sitting 30 kilometers away. Yet, for a certain reason that we all know, army was not called out for 3 days. And in that period, 4,000 poor Sikhs were lynched. They were massacred. They were butchered on the streets of Delhi. Thereafter, they articulated, it was by design to cover up that entire operation. Mr. Ved Marwa was asked to conduct an inquiry. He was stopped midway. And thereafter, we have seen the way pressure is brought upon the investigative officers, pressure is brought upon even the judiciary. And I believe that central government can do nothing. Sikhs cannot expect justice from this central government. As long as Congress is in power, Sikhs will not get justice. Just like Supreme Court had ordered an SIT in case of Gujarat, I think it is high time Supreme Court intervened and took this matter in their own hands. Only then will this brave community get some justice.
I'd like to get in Manjeet Singh GK at this stage. Will an SIT work, Manjeet Singh ji?
There is no other hope left with us, Arnav, because you have seen you have heard what Ved Marwa ji has said on your channel. Number one. Number two, you are well aware of CBI that twice they have filed a closure report in the case of Jagdish Titler.
Mr. Fulka just now gave the detail of Nangloi Thana charge sheet ready. Now these are some FIRs which were registered. There are thousands of FIR where affidavits are lying. Nobody dared to register an FIR. At your channel, many times I have been asked question that do you have any faith on the judicial system of India? What will judicial system do when the premier investigating agencies or Delhi police, it was their job to investigate, it was their job
the Delhi
to bring
police,
out
exactly.
the things and put before. And if judiciary, if nothing is coming before the judiciary, everyone.
So Maxwell Pereira,
fishes like Sajjan Kumar, Titler.
So Maxwell Pereira, would you be the first person
May I add here?
No.
May I just add here?
Yes, Mr. Gujral.
I just want to add one thing to what Mr. Manjeet Singh said. It is not just Delhi police but also the CBI. We saw how the last director filed a closure report against Mr. Titler when his joint director had said that case should be taken to the courts. And thereafter he is rewarded with governorship. What does it all prove? That they want to put a lid on all this.
Well, in that case, Mr. Gujral, let there be a criminal investigation reopened. Not just against the politicians, but
Absolutely.
also Mr. Maxwell Pereira against the police officers. No, this nation would demand the reopening of a criminal investigation against all those officers who are complicit with the cover-up. Mr. Maxwell Pereira, would you yourself support that? All senior officers, including those perhaps who asked Mr. Marwa not to complete his inquiry, they should all face a fresh investigation on why they did so.
If there are doubts in the investigation, there are lots of indictments in the commission reports, I think it is a call for is justified for reinvestigating. I mean, nothing stops, but then I can only tell you, as I told you again and again, I can speak to what I saw and what I did. I can't really.
But you know the facts
for somebody else.
No, you know the facts. The CBI prosecutor said there is a conspiracy of terrifying proportion with the complicity of the police and the patronage of Sajjan Kumar. That is what the CBI said. Sajjan Kumar could not have done. Sajjan Kumar could not have done what he did. Could he have without the support and complicity of the local police? And how can you limit your observations only to what you saw?
Yes, other than that is hearsay. What I have read in the papers or seen on your channel.
This is not hearsay.
Yeah.
This is not hearsay. This is what the CBI is saying.
No, the CBI or whoever else, I can only speak to conclusions drawn by the inquiry commissions or allowed to come out or not allowed to come out as alleged in the channels.
No. I think Mr.
I am not privy to the. I am not privy to this.
Sir, with great respect to you, I'd like to bring your attention. I think today, Mr. Maxwell Pereira, I must say this, that you are being dodgy when it comes to criticizing your own.
I'm not being dodgy.
One second. Question is coming your way from Mr. You must be in a position, Mr. Maxwell Pereira, to apply the same harsh rules that you would apply it in all cases to the police. Because the Nanavati Commission said that the police remained passive and did not provide protection to the people. Naresh Gujral wants to ask you a question. Yes, Mr. Gujral.
I want to ask Mr. Pereira that in his district, did the police fire one shot? Was one protester injured? Was one policeman injured? In Gujarat,
I can tell you this much.
Fired.
I can tell you this much.
600 policemen lost their lives.
I think you don't know.
200 protesters were killed.
Mr. Gujral, will you give me an opportunity to, tell you that I happen to be the only officer commended by the commissions of report, and I think
agree.
Mr. Marwa will be in a better position to answer this.
You did a commendable job. I'm not questioning that at all.
I'm neither defending myself
No, one second. He's asking you a different
No,
question,
it
Mr.
wasn't.
Pereira.
I can
Mr.
tell you
Pereira,
the
take
amount
his
of
question.
action done by
No.
North
Mr.
District.
Pereira, take his question. Repeat your question. The last part of your question. I don't think Mr. Pereira heard it. Mr. Gujral, please repeat your question.
I am saying, is it a fact or not that the police force under him was paralyzed? I am not blaming Mr. Pereira at all.
Yeah.
But the guys, the beat constables, the guys who were on the street, they refused to act. Did they fire a shot at the protesters?
Well, I can tell you, I did fire. I ordered firing, and we did, take action.
I am
and there
asking
were so
about
many
your
other
subordinates.
places in
No,
North
he's asking about your subordinates, Mr. Pereira. He's asking you a question
My
about whether the police
subordinates-
force was paralyzed because of political influences, Mr. Pereira.
And how
You
many
are
people were
understanding the
injured in
question,
Delhi?
but you're not answering it.
No, to the best of my knowledge, wherever things came to my knowledge, I've seen to it that my subordinates acted.
No,
my
Mr. Pereira.
subordinates in the officers in Kingsway Camp, Azadpur, the officers in Andamogal and Sabji Mandi, they opened fire. Chaudhry Raghbir Singh, Kashyap was in Kingsway
Mr.
Camp.
Pereira,
All these opened fire.
Mr. Pereira,
and they
your certificate to the police does not match either what the Nanavati Commission said, does not match what the CBI prosecutor said, and I would now like to bring in Mr. Fulka on this, because as far as I'm concerned, the CBI prosecutor very clearly said this was a case where the police acted in a pre-planned manner, where every policeman was keeping his eyes closed to the widespread violence. Mr. Fulka has more information on that. Accept the harsh reality tonight.
Mr.
Pereira,
Marwa would be in a better
accept the harsh
position
reality.
to answer this.
Accept the harsh
Inquiry
reality
of all
on this,
this.
Mr. Pereira. Mr. Fulka will give you the details. Yes, Mr. Fulka.
First of all, let me say Mr. Maxwell Pereira was the only officer who opened fire and was able to disperse the crowd. If Mr.
I agree
Maxwell
with him.
Pereira can disperse the crowd by just opening fire once, then why couldn't the others do?
Yes.
That shows
Yes.
that the crowd was not so committed. If the crowd had been so committed, even if he had opened fire once, they would have gone.
Exactly.
Nobody came closer. That shows the crowds were not committed. It could have been easily dispersed. Now, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, at
point.
page 45 of this judgment of yesterday,
Yeah.
the court records the contention of the prosecutor of the CBI. The CBI says that the Jagdish Kaur recorded a statement on 3rd November 1984, and that statement has been removed from the records by the police. Now this is what the CBI investigation shows, and it is the CBI further says that these accused committed these killings in connivance with the Delhi police officials. So Delhi police is virtually a co-accused in this matter. Unfortunately, while dealing with Sajjan Kumar, the judge did not consider this aspect at all. Now the court says, like what Mr. Gujral also said, Manjeet Singh also said, when you go to the court, now till 2005 the investigation was with the Delhi police. Delhi police does not want to record any statement against Sajjan Kumar.
Why?
And it is only after the investigation goes to CBI the statements against Sajjan Kumar is recorded. Now the court gives him the benefit of doubt that what 20
what
years
does
the
that tell
statements
us?
are not recorded.
No, what does that tell us?
The
That
CBI
the police has been scared. And I'm asking here today, what is the police scared
The
of?
police
The
not only scared, the police has been party to these killings.
And I'm asking here today, Mr. Maxwell Pereira, I'm not, you're not the only person to be answering here. But the fact is this, that there was a Poti Rosha committee appointed in March 1990. The committee issued recommendations for filing cases based on affidavits of victims who had suffered from violence. There was one against Sajjan Kumar. CBI team, am I correct, Mr. Fulka? CBI team went to Sajjan Kumar's
That's
house
right.
to file the charges. His supporters locked up the CBI team and said, we will beat you up. We will thrash you if you continue.
just a minute.
If you continue to file cases against, and as a result of this intimidation, the term expired and the inquiry was disbanded. Is that a fact or not, Mr. Fulka?
Now, just a minute. The CBI team went to arrest Sajjan Kumar. They arrested Sajjan Kumar. The CBI jeep was burnt by
That's the point.
the people over there. Police did not help them. And one more fact, Arnav. At 7 o'clock, the CBI arrested Sajjan Kumar. at 10 o'clock, the Delhi High Court grants him anticipatory bail.
Shocking.
Now, this is one of our major grievances.
It's completely shocking.
7 o'clock he's arrested. 10 o'clock, Delhi High Court grants him anticipatory bail and say, tell the registrar, you call up the CBI team.
So, Mr. Marwa,
how to release him.
So, Mr. Marwa, what? So, Mr. Marwa, the only thing that I can summarize is that when you tried to do an honest job, you were stopped. Every investigation after you was stopped, roadworks were put, and a number of pliant police officers fell in line and did nothing to their political masters as part of this cover-up, Mr. Marwa. Would I be right in making?
You're absolutely.
Yeah, Mr. Marwa.
You're absolutely right in your conclusion. I can't comment specifically on any case because my inquiry was not completed. But 2-3 facts emerged from the whole situation. Number one, that the riots which took place and the maximum killing that took place were in areas which were not prone to riots. And the mobs which indulged in murder and arson and things like that were very small crowd, 15-20. And they dare not do this sort of thing unless they believe they will get away. Number two, it has taken 29 years for this judicial process and investigative process to go. Unthinkable. And thirdly, that the response of different districts was different. Maxwell is absolutely right. The North District did a much better job, and Chandni Chowk area, which is prone to riots, nothing happened. The Central District, which again is Karol Bagh and other areas which are prone to this sort of problem, were relatively quiet. It happened in areas like Palam and in the West District,
so in East District. Mr. Marwa, tell me. Mr. Marwa, you were police commissioner between 85 and 88. Can I ask you, after that, and you don't need to name the politicians, but I want you to share a little bit more. Did you share your frustration? Did you share your frustration? You've been governor also. Have you shared your frustration straight up with Congress leaders who could have made a difference, or any other political leaders?
My inquiry was followed by an inquiry by a sitting Supreme Court judge, Mr. Ranganath Mishra, who later became a Congress MP. But besides that point,
his report, with the greatest of respect, his report was a sham, because he said that it was not part of his terms of reference to identify any person, and recommended the formation of 3 committees. So the Ranganath Mishra Commission had no use.
This is the point.
Yes, Mr. Gujral.
Arnab, anybody who gave a wishy-washy report was rewarded. A former Supreme Court Chief Justice is made a Congress Member of Parliament, and thereafter he's made a governor. What does it prove? Because he gave a wishy-washy report.
I want to ask you, Mr. Marwa, I am told that your report was taken over by the government and were later transferred to this Mishra Commission. However, the most important part of your record, namely your handwritten notes, which contained important information, were not transferred to the Mishra Commission. I want to ask you, Ved Marwa, where are your handwritten notes? Where is that information?
First of all, there was no report written because I had not completed the inquiry. So the question of handing over the report to anyone didn't arise. Secondly, all the record which I had collected was handed over to Ranganath Mishra Commission as ordered by the Commissioner of Police and the government.
No, not your handwritten notes, I'm told. Not your handwritten notes.
Handwritten notes, I don't recall that I had written anything handwritten.
I want to know, Mr. Marwa, it is my instinct to know what happened to the explosive material. You are obviously sitting on explosive findings which you had found out about the complicity of the police, and this country would want to have access to your findings. Where are those findings? Where are those findings now?
My explosive finding were those documentary evidence, the records of the Central Police Control Room and the records of the police
so
station,
where is all that
which was handed over to the commission. My handwritten notes, if I had recorded, I don't
No, but do you think that should be made public? Do you think whatever you found out at that point of time, in the interest of, transparency, should now be made public?
None of this record was in my personal custody. I had a deputy commissioner of police to assist me, and he was a very, very bright young officer who kept all the records and handed it over to the mission.
I think it should be opened up. It should be made public. Absolutely. Last word to Manjeet Singh, please.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not?
Yeah, Arnav, I am of the opinion that this should be made public.
It should be made public.
One thing more I need to tell you here. Mr. Fulka said that a statement of Jagdish Kaur was removed by Delhi police. The CBI is saying. The thing is, there are cases where the main witness was called not once, not twice, 10 times their statements were taken, and later on in the court, even if I am to give a statement 10 times, somewhere or the other the commas or full stop will shift. Something will change the meaning of the thing. And police played in the hands of the culprits, and they said that they always keep on changing their statements, so they are not good enough to be believed. Secondly, today on your channel in the afternoon I was watching, the Chief Minister of Delhi, Shrimati Sheila Dixit, said that why are they protesting? If they have a problem, they should go to the higher court. Now tell me, I need to ask Madam Sheila Dixit that the investigating agencies had never caught anything recorded, had never collected any evidence. What will we take to the higher court? Madam Sheila Dixit knows very well that if we go to any court, this evidence is not going to book anybody. So there is a need to make an SIT for these riots on the basis of Gujarat riots. Only then we can get justice.
I think that there is one. Mr. Gujral, before I come to you, I want to go back. The truth is lying there somewhere in a government file. I put the question to all our viewers on News Hour tonight. Here is a man who has been hounded and persecuted, Mr. Ved Marwa, for pushing the truth. And I know I'm extremely critical of Maxwell Pereira on most occasions, but I must commend him tonight publicly. He was one of the few police officers who took a gun and dared to fire at the protesters at that point of time, when other police officers didn't do so. But I think, Mr. Gujral, it is in the national interest that the Ved Marwa findings, instead of being put in some locker or cupboard somewhere, should be made public now. Because they have been concealed. They have been concealed for 29 years, Mr. Gujral. I think the Ved Marwa's findings, whatever they are, should be made public now.
All this will be possible if the Supreme Court suo moto intervenes, as they did in the case of Gujarat. And the last thing I want to say, just before I came on your show, a Sikh gentleman called me from Hyderabad, and he said, our community suffered, it was state-sponsored terrorism in '84, and he said, I hope this time we are not made victims of judicial terrorism.
Well, I think, people have such strong sentiments, they have reasons to do so. Mr. Marwa, I want to ask you this, because I know I'm getting, persuasive on this point. I believe you were on to something somewhere. And because you were on to something somewhere, Mr. Marwa, there was an attempt to make you stop doing your job.
No, it is quite obvious. It is that the Delhi police, some officers of the Delhi police would have had a lot to answer. And when they had a lot to answer, somebody would ask them, why didn't you do it? And then the whole trail will lead to powers that didn't want to be exposed. Now, who those powers are, I didn't inquire, and I don't want to comment on that.
But you wouldn't have any problems with your report being made public?
No, there is no report. By all the documents being made public which I collected, there were no findings. I didn't reach the final conclusion because I still had to examine some important witnesses like the commissioner, the lieutenant governor, and some other senior people. So to get their reaction to what had happened. But the documents which I had collected, and I had collected a huge record, which, as I said, the deputy commissioner who was assisting me dutifully with receipt and all, handed it over to Justice Ranganath Mishra. If they are made public, I think certainly it would help in everyone drawing its own conclusion that where things had gone wrong and where things had gone right.
Well, I think they should be. Mr. Marwa, I thank you. Mr. Manjeet Singh, thank you. Maxwell Pereira, thank you very much. I wish there were more officers with your courage in 1984, Mr. Pereira. And my question to all the Newshour viewers is simply this. Do you think whatever findings, whatever was the trail of investigation that Ved Marwa was following should now be made public?